Hey everyone, ArchTalko here, welcoming you to Talko Talks Games. This week we're going to be taking a look at flOw, the first of 3 games that game company made in agreement with Sony exclusively for the PlayStation 3. So, what do you guys say we dive on in? Ha ha ha! Oh my, the puns we can make. So anyway, the premise of flOw is actually pretty simple. We play as this little cute little sea creature thing. It kind of reminds me of like a plankton-esque creature. And our goal is pretty simple. We start out small, we eat other small things in order to get bigger. The bigger we get, the more bigger things that we can eat, in turn increasing our size and just creating this perpetual loop of eating and growing in order to get beautiful and majestic and long like a train. Hey soul sister. So, this game, I have been a huge fan of that game company for some time now, but I actually only played this game a couple weeks ago because I got the Journey Collector's Edition. And it's funny because now that I've gotten a chance to play all of that game company's games, I've started to notice a really big trend in the kind of themes that they go for when they create games. Pretty much the biggest thing being, you always play as like an abstract thing that has to collect other like objects, symbols, other things in order to get bigger or longer. Actually, no, just to get longer, actually. I take it back in bigger. It's like really to get longer. And what else is really interesting, I think, is that this game was actually first developed when Genova Chen and Kelly Santiago were still in college. And I believe it was like a thesis on like intuitive gameplay, gameplay where the player could kind of teach themselves how to play the game without the developers kind of, shoving tutorials and button prompts like down their throats. And in that regard, I think this game does amazing. Because the only time, and I mean the only time the game ever tells you how to play the game is when you first boot it up and it says, move the controller to move, press the button to boost. That's literally everything. Everything else is just guided by music and visual cues, which I think is awesome because, as you guys will come to find out in the following weeks, I think it's a philosophy that game company really stands by. The whole letting the player teach themselves how to play the game, as opposed to, again, just kind of the developers, shoving it down people's throats how to play. So right now, we're just kind of going through being major jerks and attacking everything that moves. But it's all for the greater good, it's eat or be eaten, which is, kind of the sad truth, not just in nature, but really everyday life, So in that regard, I'm not entirely sure how this works, but I'm pretty sure that those little blue smiley things that I'm following, I think those give you more segments, and then I think the white little like plankton creatures, I think those like fill them up with life, or something similar to that, so don't quote me on that. I'm not entirely sure how that actually works, but I'm pretty sure that's how it is. I also want to take note of the music. I'm going to give major props to the sound design team, because seriously, for a game that uses one sound effect throughout the entire game, and I mean it's a excuse me. And I mean it's a sound effect that gets repeated a lot. It doesn't ever really get grating. It fits the music score so well. It just, I can't help but just be really impressed by it, because seriously, any other sound effect would probably get really annoying really quickly, but they do an awesome job of not making it a pain in the butt to listen to, so yeah, it's pretty awesome. Speaking of music, Austin Wintory, actually, this was the first game I believe that he helped to compose the music for, and granted, the score isn't as sweeping as Journey's, mainly because, we're kind of at the bottom of the sea, we need a lot more ambience as opposed to sweeping narrative scores. But that in mind, the music still is really calming, and I don't know, it's really nice. I do like the music in this game. It's probably nothing I would listen to by itself, but if you were to, need help sleeping at night, or just kind of, just kind of need something to put your mind at ease and just kind of relax to, I think this game would do a great job of, fulfilling that. So I can still recommend the soundtrack. Maybe, again, not to listen to on its own, but to supplement your need to, just need some calming atmosphere. You're not going to listen to Kenny G on his own, but if you want a nice, romantic candlelit dinner you're gonna want him just kind of, you know, jamming out in the background. Same with this game. Romantic dinner included. Okay, maybe not. Anyway though, I failed to mention those little jellyfish thing. At first I thought it was bad because it turned my character red, but I think they're actually supposed to be like power-ups. Like for instance, with this creature, it makes your boost button it makes your boost a lot faster, and it also doubles the size of your mouth, making getting these little guys much, much easier. So, and I did say this sea creature. What's unique about this game is that even though it kind of follows that standard formula of the start small, eat other small things to get bigger, and then eat bigger things, dude, you're just going nuts. It does offer multiple creatures, which means multiple playstyles. And I will say, I've unlocked 2 other ones aside from what we're currently playing as. We're gonna call him Jerry. Aside from Jerry, I have unlocked 2 other ones, and they play like drastically different than him. So it's really cool. It's another thing that kind of helps to differentiate it from other games that are in the similar genre as this game. And I can really enjoy that. It also has a multiplayer mode. And while I've never actually tried it out, I want to think that you can play as like different creatures, which means like a lot of different combinations of play styles, and just, I think, a good time all around. So I'm probably not gonna show off the multiplayer this month while I'm going through the, you know, the journey lineage, but rest assured, at some point I do want to show off the multiplayer for this game, because I can imagine that it would be a lot of fun. I've heard a lot of good things about it. So anyway, another neat thing about this game is the whole layers mechanic that's going on. I do say it's pretty awesome to, you know, kind of be doing your own thing on one layer and then be like watching what's going on below you. Especially when you see a big behemoth like that below us, you're kind of like, better bide my time, because next layer, poop is going down. Like now, when they go red like that, that means they are not super excited that you're being cannibal and eating their bodies, and they're gonna go after you. But I think we did pretty good. So with that, let's go ahead, grab our little spindly segments. Thank you very much, sir. I've noticed that, like, in general, I am a very impatient gamer, and so I play most of the game using the boost button, but, you know, it's also nice to kind of take your time. I think if you're not boosting, you won't scare away other creatures, and they won't, like, run away from you. Kind of like that. But then, on the other hand, if you're not boosting, it's kind of hard to, like, actually catch up to them, because they're moving too, you know? Everything's just kind of floating, mind their own business, and you're coming around, eating all the babies. We are just awesome people, awesome folks. Yeah, see, kind of like that. See, because we're boosting, I think we are, like, scaring them away. But if we don't boost, I don't think they'll run away from us. Again, it's another example, like, it's the intuitive gameplay. And it's kind of just like, it really makes you want to experiment on your own and kind of, you know, kind of figure out the workings of the world without it directly telling you, you know? It's not frustrating at all. It's, I think, really neat when something like clicks in your head and you're like, oh, that's how that works. And that, again, that's like a really big staple, as you guys are going to come to see, of really all of That Game Company's games, which I can highly respect. I really wish more game companies would, you know, just kind of take that approach, you know? It's a good approach. Also, if you couldn't tell by now, in order to move, you actually have to tilt the DualShock 3 controller, which I'll be honest, I'm not very good at, so if it looks like I'm having a difficult time, it's because I am. I'm just not very good at playing this game. It's not like the DualShock controller... It's not like the DualShock 3 controller... Well, it's not like the DualShock 3 motion controls are that bad, per se. But again, I'm just not used to them. I think the Wii's are slightly better, and I think I'm just kind of spoiled when it comes to that regard. But they're not bad by any stretch of imagination. You know, just something I gotta kind of get used to. So with that, I think we might be getting kind of close to the end. Don't quote me on that though, because again, not entirely sure. Also, look how huge we are. We might need to start going on a diet soon. My lord, Weight Watchers, here we come. Anyway though, well, you know what, no, I guess we're kind of lean. Just really long, you know, we're like a good old tree. Good old glowing plankton tree. Oops, okay. Oh lordy, you guys see that below us? I'm not the most excited for that. Alright, here we come. Well, in a little bit, I'm gonna get a couple more of these guys. The little ones at this point, I don't think we should really have to worry about. But definitely the big ones, the ones that have like multiple eyes, I think we should still kind of go out of our way to get. So anyway, we are chowing on this guy. He is not the biggest fan in the world of our life choices. I don't really blame him for that. But, you know, just kind of is what it is. You know, that's life. Doesn't have to be fair. So, come here, Mr. Man. Give me your life. Ooh, and he gave us some nice jellyfish. Thank you. Awesome. Okay. Oh, bada boom. Oh, I need a little more of the spindly guys. There we go. So, yeah. I probably will never make like a full Let's Play this game because it is kind of simple. And I'm gonna admit, I don't really know what to talk about now that I've exhausted all of my explanations for the game. But it's still a really nice game, and it is one that I do encourage you guys to check out at some point. Maybe not buying it completely by itself, because I think on the PlayStation Network it's like 15 bucks. I mean, if you want to support That Game Company, seriously, please go for it. I would actually recommend getting the Journey Collector's Edition and just get, you know, Journey, Flower, and flOw all for the price of one. But yeah, I mean, it is, again, a game that I can encourage you guys to check out. Also, man, look how big we are. Those jellyfish that were giving us a hard time before are just nothing at this point. Just awesome. And also, look at all these little guys that we're eating. We are just the biggest people in the town. And we could go up, I think, after a little bit, the creatures come back. Don't quote me on that, because I've only gone up a little bit, and I've noticed that, like, just like a couple of these small guys start to come back after a little bit. But, I don't know, I think we're big enough. Also, dang, look at our size. So what do you guys say we get that glowing thing in the middle? When that happens, the camera goes a little wonky, and that's a little Adam. Look at that. And with that, we have unlocked the jellyfish. So I'm not going to play through all the way to the bottom with the jellyfish, because then we would kind of be running short on time. But I do kind of want to show off jellyfish and then the other one that I unlocked as well. So let's go ahead, get the red one, and go down. So what's cool about the jellyfish is that it moves a lot slower than Jerry that we were playing as. What are we going to call this one? Let's call this one Tim. So, Tim moves a lot slower than Jerry, but when I do that charge, he spins. I think he kind of sucks things in towards him, and then he kind of moves around in spurts, kind of like a real jellyfish, which is really neat. Again, it kind of reinforces that whole, like, every creature has a drastically different playstyle. So, it's also weird to keep in mind is that, like, our mouth is in the center, and all of our, like, life points kind of orbit around us. So it's another kind of just, you know, mechanic to keep in mind. Like, when we're fighting against, like, hostile creatures, it's important to kind of, like, know where exactly your life points are, and if you need to spin in order to get them away from people, you know, it's something you might just have to do. So anyway, I should probably be using my boost a little more often, because again, we move really stinking slow without the boost. It's also kind of weird because, again, it's like, you know, you move a little bit and then you pause and then you move, and it's not awkward, but again, it's so different when you're so used to playing as Jerry, you know? Tim, what are you doing? NCS? Get out of here. Oh no, I hit the blue one. I meant to hit the red. Gosh darn diddly dang it. There we go. Ooh, that was smooth. Smooth McGroove. Acapellas since 1969. What's that? YouTube didn't come until like 2005? Pfft, you can shut your patoots. You can shut your patoots. Anyway. Alright, getting segments. I also kind of find it interesting, like, I'm not totally sure why it's like this, but each creature has like a different style of like little creatures that you end up eating. So yeah, I just kind of find that interesting. It also seems like each creature has like a little rivalry between other little creatures, so yeah, it's something to keep in mind. As we go on, we're sure to encounter even more zany guys. So, man, look at all this good stuff. Look at all this good stuff. It also seems like we kind of like require more segments and just like more things in general in order to get bigger, as opposed to Jerry, who is just kind of, you know, eats one, gains 6 pounds, you know. Tim has a much better metabolism compared to Jerry. So anyway, I think we've seen enough of Tim, so let's go ahead. I'm going to pause the game, hit start, and that's going to bring us to like a pseudo pause menu. And we're going to go up to the character select screen. So instead of playing as Tim, we're going to play as little dolphin guy. He's so adorable. What are we going to call him? Let's call him Bill. Hello, Bill. Now what's weird about Bill is that he moves pretty slow on his own, but when you do the boost button, he does a really fast like charge attack. He's actually really powerful, with the drawback being he only gets like, he gets barely any life, meaning when you start fighting the hostile people, it's pretty hard to stay alive without like getting all of your segments completely destroyed. So, but I mean, look how like much we are just destroying people. I also think that his charge attack kind of like homes in on the little creatures, which makes getting them a little bit on the easier side. What happens if you lose all your life is you pretty much get kicked back all the way up to the top floor. I think you lose a pretty good portion of your size, and then you're required not only to build it back up, but then to get back to the layer that you're on. So if you're pretty deep and you end up getting all of your life taken away, it can be a pretty big pain in the butt to get back there, which is, I think, a pretty good incentive to not be overzealous and to monitor that shiznit. So, anyway, bada boom. Again, Bill is just the most powerful of them all. We're actually getting to a pretty good size already, so I actually really like playing as Bill, but when I played this a couple weeks ago, I never actually finished playing as Bill, so he's the only one that I've actually unlocked. I think pretty soon, though, we are going to be introduced to a brand new mechanic that I'm not sure if it's like exclusive to Bill or not, but I do know that it can be a pretty big pain in the butt and kind of renders him a little less OP. Oh, yeah, we can see it on the bottom layer. So let's go ahead and find the... Aha, there it is. The red plankton. Alright, so those yellow ones are Danger Zone McDanger. If we eat one... Here, let me find one real quick after I get these segments. If we eat one, we'll turn yellow, and we won't be able to eat anything for a short while. So it's kind of like a toxin, I think? I think that's what it's supposed to emulate, so... I just gotta be careful. If we see a yellow one, we should not be overzealous and boost into it, otherwise we're just gonna have the worst of times. Also, those guys are really finicky. I'm not even really sure what they are. They kinda... In a way, they kinda remind me of like scorpions, almost. Also, dang, look how big we are. But they're really finicky because they can kinda like dive temporarily and like not be eaten by us. So I think this is like the rivalry between this particular species that we're playing as, so just something to keep in mind. Also, dang, we just keep getting poisoned. We also, when we're poisoned, can't use our boost attack, so definitely something you want to monitor for. You really do not want to eat the yellow one. You do not want to eat the yellow snow. Trust me, I live in Michigan, I would know. Heh, that rhymed. Oh, okay. Okay, so this is the point where, like, it gets really dangerous, because, again, we only have, like, 2 life. And you'll start to see that the AI starts moving really fast. Ooh, but I want the mushroom. Mushroom? Why is this a mushroom? Why is this a mushroom? Why did I say mushroom? Also, why did I get that? Oh no, I'm poisoned! So anyway, that's gonna be it for today. Thanks for watching me play. I hope you guys enjoyed this little take on flOw. It's a really great game. I mean, I'm a super huge That Game Company fanboy, so of course I'm going to say every game that they make is fantastic, and I mean it. It's got some good stuff going on for it, so anyway, I'll see you guys next week for Talko Talks Games.